This is the sweet sound of success with Sue Wilhite, Profit Attraction Master. Tom, Big Al Schreiter, has won so many awards and written so many books, it's almost too many to talk about. He has been inducted to the Direct Marketers Hall of Fame. He speaks around the world 250 times a year and has more knowledge about influence, prospecting, direct marketing, and growing your business than practically anybody else on the planet. So please join me in welcoming Tom Schreiter. Thank you, Tom, for being here.
Thanks for inviting me. So let's go to work.
Yes. So please let me know a little bit about your beginnings. Just a little bit about how you got started. What was the impetus for that?
Money, just
Money.
outright money.
Good one.
So
Yeah.
I'm, I studied to be an engineer. So I grew up on a farm talking to cows.
Got
And
it.
then you go to engineering classes and nobody talks to each other. And then I decided to say, all right, let me get into direct selling because right now I'm doing math. It's not paying very well. And I just said, hey, I need a career that's going to pay better because my wife said so. And that's how I got started. And so there's a shy, nerdy, personality free, charisma bypass, socially challenged engineer going out and trying to do marketing and sales. Yeah, it was pretty ugly. So that's how I got started.
And so that must have been a heck of a challenge for you,
It was a
but you
disaster.
obviously overcame it. So tell me some of your secrets. Tell me some of the things that you've learned. What are your top tips? I won't even say how many tips because I'm sure that you could go on and on and on. But give me some of your top tips for if you're shy, if you're introverted, and you uh, don't know how to talk to people. How do you do that?
Well, first of all, you're not going to overcome your fear. It's a biological response. As soon as
Mhm.
our brain is a survival organ,
Right,
just like our heart is for pumping blood organs, so our brain is a survival organ. And it does really good because we're all alive right now on this call. So it's kept
right,
us alive this far. And it hasn't evolved yet to be a rational decision maker that does good things for us. So once we realize that our brain is working entirely against us, uh, it starts to make sense why we have all these fears. And if you're going to ask me, do I still have fear of talking to people? Massive. Are you still an introvert? Massive. But we can trick our brain and we can adjust our brain to work for us instead of against us. So the bottom line in sales and uh, direct marketing is if we have fear, we're going to create a negative emotion, and then all our hormones will override any of our willpower and stuff. So if we're using
right.
willpower and uh, jumping up and down at a Tony Robbins event and chanting, I'm one with the universe in front of a mirror and sitting on a chair hoping that attraction marketing will bring stuff to us, chances are it's going to be frustrating.
Right,
So
right,
the bottom line is we've got to learn how the brain works, not only for us, but for our prospects.
right.
Oh, let's make it easy. One of the first things that we can do, and everybody has a pencil and paper, you might write this down. Uh, you might start by writing down that our marketing or sales career, if that's what we're doing, and if you're in any business, oh yeah, that's what we're doing,
That's what you're
is
doing.
simply a matter of getting people to say yes.
Right.
So we are in the yes decision business. So ask yourself, all right. So all I have to do is get people to say yes. Yeah, that's quite true. And how do I get them to make a decision? Well, no idea. So Sue, I'm at a party, and I say, "What do you do?" And you say, "Well, I have a podcast called Profit Attraction Masters on how things work." And sorry about the little bit of construction in the background,
That's okay.
but that's what I do. And Big Al, what do you do? And I say, well, I'm in the decision business and I have no idea how it works. You'll have pity on me. You're
Right.
going to say, you're an idiot. How are you even allowed to survive? And that's what we do as salespeople and marketing. Because if I ask me, 2 years into my career, I didn't know this. So, it was just ugly. But if you were to ask me 2 years into my career, I said, so Big Al, you're in the decision business. You got to get people to say yes because you only get paid for yes decisions. There's no, I need to think it over commissions. There's no, and, we have to get yes. So Big Al, how do people make yes decisions in their mind? Here's my answer. I don't know. I guess maybe it's like 15,000 reasons for and 14,000 reasons against.
Ah.
No. Or wait for lightning to strike? Or some emotional flare up? Oh, that was bad. To avoid pain and to go for a decision. Little voices talking in their ear. I'd be desperate making up stupid stuff.
Right.
So you would just look at me and say, gee, I sure hope somebody removes you from the gene pool. We don't want stupidity to go on. You have chosen a career to get people to make decisions, and you have made a decision not to learn how people make decisions. How pathetic is that? And so in big letters somewhere, here's what I encourage everybody to do. Start figuring out how people make decisions. And here's what happens when you find out and figure it out. When you understand how humans make decisions, and we're in the decision business, we have a license to print money.
Oh.
Just think about this. They don't know how they make decisions. They don't. No idea. We do. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. It is over.
It's an advantage.
Yeah. So if you are a life coach and you say, well, I'm trying to get clients. How do I get them to commit to? And you just think, well, get with the program. Figure it out.
Right.
So let me give you some brain rules because I'm sure many people listening to this broadcast are just like me when I started, clueless about how this works. So here is how the brain works. And when you see how the brain works, you're not going to like this, but you'll be amazed at the power we can have when we have this information. So a couple quick oversimplification of brain rules.
Okay.
Number one, the brain makes instant decisions.
Right.
Instant yes or no decisions, even before they hear the name of our company or anything, but just instant decisions. Like, what do I mean? Like maybe the first 10 seconds or 15 seconds, it is all over.
Right.
Now, if you're sane, you're thinking, no way, that is just stupid. Because, come on, all my life they said I have to give people long presentations at the end, remove all their objections, and then go for the close. Do you want to join now or next Tuesday, or what's it going to take to put you into this automobile? Just stupid stuff. So rule number one is people make instant decisions. Rule number two, they make it on zero information.
Right.
And you say, all right, you've just crossed the line there. That doesn't make sense. How can they make it on zero? How can they make it before they even know the name of the company? How can they make it before knowing the details or how much it costs? Well, if you continue thinking that way, stay with the amateurs. Or get a government job where they're going to pay you for being incompetent. Not that all are incompetent, but just consider, let's have something where we don't have to think too much.
Right.
But that's how the brain works. And you say, I can't accept that. So I'll do some examples here on just these first two rules and see if this looks like your real life experience. So are we ready? Now, the first example, when we're done with this podcast here, Sue and I are heading out for ice cream. Who wants to come with us? Half the people raise their hands and half don't. Half say, I have lactose intolerance. I have babysitters. I got to go there, so I can't go. And half raise their hand. So the half that don't raise their hand, guess what their decision was?
No.
Yeah.
The half that didn't raise
Yeah.
their hand. Right.
And the half that raised their hand, what was their decision?
Yes. Go get ice cream.
Now, they made that decision before they knew where the ice cream parlor was.
Right.
They made it before they knew if they had 32 flavors or not.
Right.
Or if they got a slide, a brochure with the saturated fat grams per flavor.
Right.
They even made the decision before they knew if Sue's going to pay for everybody's or if they're going to have to pay for their own.
Exactly.
And you say, well, yeah, that's how it worked. And you say, well, that's just one. All right, let's do another one. How many people here set an appointment with somebody, a sales appointment, and they didn't show up? Yeah. So my question is, have they made a decision?
Which side of the equation you're talking about? Because I've booked sales appointments with other people, and the salespeople haven't shown up.
Yeah. So what decision have these people made? They made a decision, no. And it was based on how much information? Well, not really anything. And how quick did it happen? Instantly.
Right.
How many people here have ever sat down face to face with somebody, and as soon as you sit down to mark or do your sales presentation, they're already leaning back, folding their arms, frowning? Have they made a decision?
Absolutely.
And what was their decision? No.
No.
And it was based on how much information?
Probably none to very little.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
and you say, how can this be? All right, so let me take it a little bit further here, because once we pass this hurdle, our eyes will start opening up to what's really going on. So if you're a lady, I'm going to ask you now, have you ever seen a man with a remote control in front of a television channel surfing? Click, 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 click. You say, men are so stupid. They make their final decision to watch that channel or not on no information and on to the next one. They are idiots. Now, men, we have no defense on this one. Let's just move on. So consider, how many of us have watched a video on YouTube and made our decision to watch that video or not after 5 seconds into that YouTube video? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How many of us have walked into a restaurant, made a decision to eat at that restaurant before we've even seen the menu? Yeah.
Right.
Or how about this? How many of us have ordered something off the menu before we knew about all the ingredients? Were the vegetables organically grown? Did the chicken have a happy life before they killed it? Yeah. And we're starting to say, yeah, we do make a lot of decisions before information.
Right, right.
So here's the test for everybody watching right now. The test is, if I were to ask you as an adult human being using your high levels of intellect, what would your answer be to this? When do people make their final decision? After the information or before?
Generally speaking, before.
Yeah, so based upon our keen observational knowledge here, yeah, before.
Right.
And that's the first secret or rule of decision making, that people make decisions before the information. And people say, well, I'm not. All right, so try this. Right now, you look at your phone, you get a call, incoming call, and it's from a salesman. It's a salesman incoming call. How long is it going to take us to make a decision?
To answer the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that really depends on how much I like the salesperson.
Right. So it could be click, right? And you say, wait a minute.
Right.
You and I, and this is natural for us to do, is to make an instant decision on a cold sales call coming in instantly without even hearing the first word of the presentation. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, if you and I do this to other people, don't you think other people would do that to us?
Absolutely.
And what percentage of the time?
100%.
Yeah, about 100 or 105%. Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
So the decision is done first, closing would happen. If people make their decisions instantly, when would be a good time to close?
Before you show up,
Right away, right away. And
immediately.
people do these stupid, stupid sales presentations with the hope of getting ahead. And
Right.
all I can say is based upon what you've seen. Sales presentations, how do you feel about them? They are probably the most stupidest anchors around our neck, holding us back, destroying our business, showing slides, videos, fact, proof, and everything. Stop. It's
Right.
killing us.
Right. It's like dragging an anchor uphill.
So stop. And you say, but how am I going to sell them? How am I going to influence? All right. We'll get to that in a second with the few minutes we have here. But once you stop giving sales presentations, all of a sudden we leave the delusional programs that were given us in the past, which was you got to talk to them for an hour and show them stuff. And then at the end, do you want to do it or not? Already we see that's just crazy. That just doesn't make sense. It's not how the human brain works. And for those that have trouble getting this first little miniature lesson across, let me give you a couple things to consider, because taking this first step took me 6 months. Let's do it in 6 minutes.
Ooh.
Here it is. Let's change our beliefs. So I'll give you 2 examples that will stick in your mind that you can think about over and over. So ladies, you know who you are. I'm going to ask you this question. How many ladies here have ever, sometime in your lifetime, met a young man and made the decision in the first 30 seconds about that young man and where he's going to fit in your life? Probably ladies are going to say, well, yeah, it's happened a lot. Maybe almost all the time. Now, men, is that fair?
Maybe 5?
5 seconds, yeah. But men, what are we thinking? That's not fair. That's not fair. They haven't heard our sales presentation yet.
Right. They haven't given
And
it a chance.
women didn't even give us a chance for a sales presentation. How could they make a decision? Trust me, they have. So, men, if you're sitting with a lady right now while you're listening or viewing this, turn to the lady, and the lady will just look you in the eye and say, that's how it works. Get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Our sales presentations are useless. Here's the second example to help us remember. How many people here have, sometime in your lifetime, entered a relationship or got married before you had all the information? And they go, oh, that's kind of rude. I've done it a couple of times. And you say, well, this is how people make a decision. So don't make up some fantasy thing that they need information and data and all this stuff. It's not how it works. So what we need to do is learn the steps that even happen before and concentrate them in the first couple of seconds so we get the job done. So we have a few minutes. Can I give an example of some of the things we would do before?
Absolutely. Please.
Okay.
That's a yes.
So here's some things. How many people here have pets? So if you do, one morning you walk into the living room and you say to your pets, hop in the car, let's go for a fun ride today. Now, we said this every day, but today they all run underneath the sofa because they know we're taking them to the vet.
Right.
They say, wait. How'd they know we're taking them to the vet? They don't understand English. Do they take their little paw and break into our Apple diary? I don't think so. How'd they know? Well, the pets, they judge us by things like our tone of voice, our body language, our activities, right? So what happened to the pets here is the pet said, wait a minute. 3 months ago, they said, hop into the car for a fun ride. They moved their elbow like this.
Right.
And we ended up at the vet with needles in our butt.
Right.
So today they move their elbow like this. I remember that. Boom, we're underneath the sofa.
Right.
They know they're going to the vet. So it wasn't even the words we said. Oh, whoa. That is huge. Now, we know this because when we're kids, mom sticks her head in the bedroom and we quickly look, is she mad or happy?
Right.
or look at her body language, listen to her tone of voice.
Exactly.
Or when we wanted something as a kid, we kind of searched out, we're going to wait until this kind of body language or tone of voice from our
Right.
parents is the right time to hit them up for Nintendo 17 or whatever the current thing is. So, all right, I got that. So what could influence is our body language and our tone of voice. And of course, the words we say. So the words we say really, really quick is going to probably determine that decision. But they're also going to be looking at our body language, our tone of voice. And when we talk about body language, well, not just like how you stand, but there's something called, I don't know how deep we need to go here, but let's just start with the first thing. There's something called microfacial expressions.
Yes.
We can make up about 25 microfacial expressions per second.
Yes.
So
That's
every second, raise eyebrow, all this stuff.
Right.
And we read these. Now, we are pros at reading this. When we were cavemen, I don't know, 50,000 years ago, we'd meet, there wasn't a lot of population. We'd meet a stranger. We had to look at their face and very quickly figure out, all right, are they going to kill me or possibly be somebody that can help me?
Right.
And we have like a second to figure that out. Now, if we don't figure it out, what's going to happen? Oh, we die. We don't reproduce. So all our genetics are from people who are able to figure it out with one quick look at the face.
Micro decision.
Yeah. So we look at somebody's face and quickly figure out are they safe or not. You can experiment with this. You're sitting in a meeting and somebody comes in the door behind you. You turn and look. And we look at their face and we quickly prejudge them and prejudge them harshly on their body language or tone of voice. But what we're looking at mostly is their microfacial expressions.
Right.
Now, we don't have the conscious mind bandwidth to handle this. Our subconscious mind handles it, and it handles it in a second. It takes a look, reads the different microfacial expressions, and makes a decision, safe or not, trustworthy or not.
Right.
And you say, well, all right, I kind of got that. All I have to do is control my microfacial expressions, which of course is problematic. Doing 25 microfacial expressions per second would be pretty tough.
Right. That's
a
Cirque du Soleil level of control.
How are we going to do this? And the answer is we have to use a hack. We don't have the conscious brain power to do this. So the hack is this. Our microfacial expressions are simply an automatic expression of our intention.
Right.
If we change our intention, our microfacial expressions just go along with it. So does our body language.
Yeah.
So here's an example of how you can do that right away, something you can use instantly. I'm going to go and sell Sue here a brand new high-tech microphone, and I'm on quota. I just need one more big microphone to sell, and I'm going to win a trip. So right before I go in to see Sue, here's what my thinking is, my intention. I need to make this sale. I want to have this commission. I don't care what she says. I'm going to crush her like a grape. She's going to buy from me against her will. And I walk in with that on my face. Do you think Sue's going to put up some sales resistance?
Yeah, the grape is going to bite back.
I'm dead meat, toast.
Right.
It's over, roadkill.
Right.
However, 1 second before I go in, I say, hey, I know Sue wants to sound pro. She wants to sound professional. I will offer her this option of a better microphone. It's up to her if it's going to serve her or not right now. It could be, a budget thing, or maybe she has to use this one because her kids gave it to her for Christmas. But I will offer it to her, step back. If it serves her, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. And I walk in with that intention all over my face.
Right.
How's that going?
Yeah, because it's not only going to be, it's going to be congruent with your whole body, even your micro expressions, but it will also sort of filter down into your body language. You'll be more relaxed, and your vocal tones, which are another micro decision that we make.
Yeah.
The vocal tones will also be congruent.
So here's the deal. You can hack this instantly by just changing your intention,
Yeah.
because people read intentions. When you turn around and look at somebody come in the room, you might say to yourself, "Man, why are they wearing a hockey mask and carrying an axe?" And we're gonna, prejudge them pretty harshly, or we could look at their face and say, "Yeah, it's okay. They can sit next to me. I don't have to hide my purse or wallet." It's that fast.
Right.
So people say, "All right." So when we talk to people, it's not all the information sales presentation. No, it's the words we say right away. And I'll give you one magic opening close that you can use that's rejection free, because I'm still a coward. So, but it's the words we say, our body language, our microfacial expressions, our tone of voice, but our intention automatically handles our tone of voice and microfacial expressions.
Right.
Automatically handles it. Man, that is awesome. But even before that, there's a step that makes it even better. And people don't get this. It's called influence.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody has influence over us, we're going to make the decision yes before they even show up.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. We're a teenage girl, and our number one male movie star of all time offers to say, "Hey, let's go to a movie together." And you think, well,
I
this
think
person's
that's
pretty influential. It's a movie star. Actually, I'm one of the biggest fans. She didn't have to hear, let me tell you about the movie. Let me show you the synopsis. Let me tell you about the quality of the popcorn inside. I hear their soft drinks are better than, you don't need any of that stupid presentation. It was all handled with influence. So I do a lot of work with network marketing. And I've done, 49 years. So in network marketing, you call up somebody and ask them to join your business. Right. So here's the example of influence that literally illustrates it to the T. A doctor joins our business. And the doctor picks up the phone and calls our 10 best friends and says, "Hey, I'm starting this new business venture. Would you like to be with me?" And all 10 say, "Well, yes, doctor. Yes, sure. Tell us about it Saturday at the barbecue." The doctor had influence.
Right.
Here's what's strange about influence. I wrote a whole book about it. It's pretty cool. It has paper airplanes on the front. But the doctor has influence. So that when the doctor calls somebody, they say yes automatically, but ask ourselves, what does the doctor know about business?
Right.
Nothing. They went to school on how to, slice and sew up and all this other stuff. The doctor has absolutely no expertise in business, but yet, because they have influence, we make an instant yes decision, and we haven't even heard what it is.
Right.
And if that doesn't wow people and say, "I can't believe we think like that," it's just the way it is. So let me show you how to have influence. This is the last example because we're probably running over time already. Here's the example.
We're good. You've got a minute or two.
All right.
And I've got one more question at the end. So.
All right. So the brain rule is, we got to learn these brain rules. I think on influence book it's number 5. And here's the rule. You're going to go, really? And the answer is really. It says, if somebody is an expert in one area, like a doctor, our brains will automatically gift them unlimited intelligence and genius status in all areas.
Right.
Well, that's just stupid. That is insane.
Pretty silly.
And we do it right away because we say, well, you're a doctor, so yeah, you must be a business genius too. They didn't even take an accounting course. So here's the hack. If you become an expert in one little tiny narrow area, people will gift us genius status and expert status and all other things related. And sometimes even unrelated. You see. So you're saying that if I become an expert on, I'll just get on Google in 5 minutes, I can become an expert on mating habits of Ecuadorian guinea pigs. And trust me, after 5 minutes of research, you'll be ahead of 99% of all people. And so if you're an expert in Ecuadorian guinea pig mating habits, people will gift you expert status on tons of things.
Yeah.
Now, let's make this practical. If you sold diet products,
Right.
all you would have to do is memorize the 8 foods that you can eat that your body burns more calorie digesting them than the calories are inside. And you could casually just put in conversation, yeah, a lot of people try to lose weight, but they don't even know the 8 basic foods that burn more calories when you eat them. And people say, oh, you know what they are? Tell us what they are. And we say what they are. They will think we are an expert in everything diet related. They'll think that we're a personal trainer on which muscles to move. Yeah, right. They gift us that with just because we're an expert in one very, very narrow thing. Now, let's say that you sold savings, something, maybe electricity where people could save money, or they could buy printing and save money. That's what you sold. Become an expert on coupons. You might say, well, I know how to clip coupons out and how to get them redeemed and get 2 or 3 times as much. And as long as people know you're an expert on coupons, if you ever mention saving anything, they will automatically gift you unlimited influence. They'll say yes to whatever you present based upon your influence as an expert. And you say, wow. This gives us, even before the presentation, sales presentations, let's forget that. That is for low-level amateurs.
Right.
What we need is good words, intention, understanding before any of that happens is influence. If we have influence before we even show up, we're in.
Right.
Why don't we use what works instead of these made-up things from the 1960s? So I know you have a question, and then I'll finish up with a closing sentence that they can use rejection-free so they get unlimited business right away. So go ahead with the question first, Sue.
Perfect. Well, actually, I've now upped it to 2 questions, but they're both pretty quick. So I'll
All
ask the
right.
shorter question first. The shorter question is, are you going to tell us about where to get your book about influence?
Just look up, I think the name of the book is Create Influence.
Okay,
That's pretty simple.
we can do that.
So go on iBooks or Barnes and Noble. Just go online anywhere, Amazon, and it'll look up Create Influence. And it's just a way of having unlimited influence over people, which is whole much better than some stupid sales presentation.
Right. Much
Yeah, so
easier.
that's easy. Yeah.
So the second question that I have is a little bit harder. What is the favorite part of what it is that you do?
Uh, the favorite part that I do, my favorite activity is to learn about the biology of brain science.
Hmm.
And you say, well, that's pretty nerdy stuff. And the answer is, yeah. But once I learned that decisions are everything, and they come from the brain, I said, well, I have a scientific background, so let me get involved in that. And so for the last 30, 40 years, I look at all the brain science and read the research papers and say, all right, what in there is actually useful for us that we could use in direct marketing?
Right.
Because most of it is not useful. And if it is useful, how do we implement it so we can do it? Because, there's lots of good psychological tests, and there's lots of great data science, but unless we can use it, it's totally useless. But here's what happened. 1997, they started imaging the brain a lot, and they found out things like the brain makes instant decisions, tells the conscious mind in 6 seconds, and we just go through a whole list.
Right.
Brain scientists have figured out exactly how we make decisions, and they wrote it down for us for free as salespeople.
Right.
And they put it in scientific papers because they thought that that's what salespeople do at night when they're done, just read scientific papers. They kind of missed that point. So I read all the boring and useless stuff for people, figure out, what can we use? And then I say, all right, so this is what we can use. How do we implement it? And then I go out and I try it and try it and try it. And refine it. And when something works, like almost all the time, then I say, okay, let's pass this one on. So I like to pass on stuff that works in real life. Maybe has 10,000 tests on it or something. But I don't like passing on stuff that doesn't work because just made up stuff. Some people read a book and drink a beer, and that's not really good advice to follow.
Well, I think it's, I forget whether it was Edison or Ford or somebody says, you break it until it works.
Well, that's one way of doing it, trial and error.
Right,
And
right.
for all the trial and error people out there, let me point out that trial and error is the most effective way to learn.
Yeah.
Because most of the time it's error and it hurts and it's painful and we remember pain very well.
Yep.
But the downside of trial and error is it's painful and takes a long, long time, sometimes forever. So the better way is to let somebody else do the trial and error.
Right.
And just say, give me the bottom line when it's all done. So that's why we should be, yeah, we should be book readers or audio listeners. We should find out what works instead of doing silly trial and error because it just takes too long. We can't wait a lifetime for the money or for our careers to take off or for us to have the ability to influence people. We need to do it right away. So anyway, let me wind it up here with a sentence to show you how easy it is. Remember those two rules we had? The brain makes decisions instantly, and number two, based upon zero information.
Right.
Here's a third rule. The third rule is the brain is lazy.
Mm-hmm.
It wants to save energy in case we're being chased by dinosaurs or something like that. So because it's lazy, it says, I like to make decisions where it's really easy, like multiple choice. And it says, well, I know I should have choices. I like options. But let's make it only two. Because anything more than that takes too much thinking power, and I'd rather spend that on Netflix. So rule number 3 is we want to give them choices. And how many choices? 2. And the choice is take my wonderful offer or keep your miserable life. And if you put it out as an option, saying, here it is, up to you, you make your own choices in life. You can have this wonderful thing I'm offering you or keep your miserable life just the way it is. There's no pressure, no rejection, and people like getting additional options in their life.
Right.
Think about it. We love options. You go to all-you-can-eat buffet and all they have is tofu. We want some more options.
Right. I want a lot of options in that case.
Now, let's put in rule number 4. Rule number 4 is people want to make decisions right away, get it done. And if their decision is, no, I don't want to go to the ice cream parlor, they don't need to know about the number of flavors. Right. They don't.
Right.
So how people like to make decisions is quick yes or no. And if the answer is yes, then and only then would I want some additional details.
Right.
So we're going to take our former sales presentation, reword it as first training session or information they may need. And we're just going to ask them how many details they want. They'll tell us, don't worry. So we got 4 rules to start with, but you say, wow, I could throw away all those stupid sales courses I learned and right. Throw away this 10 affirmations on one with the universe and just get on with doing it.
And all those
I'm going to give, just give people an option. Nobody gets offended by options.
Right.
Nobody. So we're going to say, here's my wonderful option or keep your miserable life. Now, let me give you the exact words, because if you're using trial and error to do this, it's going to sound ugly. You don't have time to waste. So get your pen.
Okay.
And we're going to take this one. There's so many, but here's a very, very famous one. So I'm going to give you 4 words. Does it make sense? And if you say, does it make sense? Most people make an instant, immediate decision. Yes, I'm a sensible person. I'm not an idiot. As a matter of fact, I'm borderline genius. So yes. And when you say, does it make sense? You're going to notice that a lot of people start nodding yes automatically before you got to word number 5. Now, don't laugh. Just bite your tongue. It's the way people react because people are reactive. Another story for another day. But we're going to say, does it make sense to? And then we're going to tell them what we want to do. We're going to give them our wonderful offer,
Uh-huh.
comma, because we're not through with them yet. No, no, no.
Okay.
And then we're going to say, instead of, use the words instead of.
Right.
And there's a
That's
long story for that. We don't need to know. It's going to work whether we know the story or not. But say instead of, and then keep your miserable life.
right. Whatever
So,
that works out to be. Yes.
so let's say that in this example that Sue here does life coaching for people that are just stressed out. They don't know what to do. They're starting to get depressed. They just can't figure it out. They've been doing trial and error, just not working. So they say, so Sue, I understand you do life coaching because you have a life coaching business card. So what's this all about? Sue says, does it make sense to have a professional coach sort this out for you in 1 hour instead of continued day after day of frustration and depression? They're going to have to make a decision now, aren't they?
Right. And they've made it that fast.
Right. And it's over.
And it's over.
And then they say, well, yeah, it makes sense. And so Sue's going to say, so what would you like to know next? And they'll tell us what details they want to know. Well, how much it costs, what time, whatever. Like that. He said, whoa. But what about if I sold printing to companies? Taking a random thing here. Well, you might say to the company, does it make sense to have your printing done in 24 hours every time instead of having some printers say, we'll schedule it? Dieting. Does it make sense to lose weight one time and keep it off forever instead of, well, dieting and watching it come back with 5 extra pounds to punish you?
Right, right.
If you sold skincare, does it make sense to use our expensive skincare now, comma, instead of paying $2,500 per Botox treatment every 6 months for the rest of your life? Yeah.
Right.
If we have the idea. Does it make sense to whatever I have to offer instead of? And when they're done, you can say, what would you like to know next? Or you could say, then let's talk. But it's done.
Right. Then
no rejection. Yeah, because I'm a coward. No rejection ever.
Yeah.
They close right away.
Right.
It's in sync that people want to make decisions quickly and get it out of the way, yes or no. We rock. So, way over time on this. I'm sorry about that, but I'm going to turn it over to Sue to wrap it up. But please, either use trial and error, or could I put it this way? Does it make sense to read my books or somebody else's books just to get the answer instead of spending years of trial and error trying to figure this out on our own?
Yes, absolutely. I hope everybody says yes.
So, does it make sense for us to stop now so people can go out and do something with this instead of going on and on and on? So, Sue, over to you.
Right. Well, bless your heart. Thank you so much for spending the time with me, for making the time in your schedule for this show. I want to thank my audience for sitting and listening to this, because this was amazing, wonderful information. And I'm so glad that we got to share it here on the Sweet Sound of Success. What are your dreams for your business? You know what drives me crazy? Really smart business owners denying their talents because they've been taught it has to be hard, because they've been taught that they don't deserve their gifts, that they're not worth anything. They've been taught that their gender means they can't express their genius. I'm Sue Wilhite, and I want you to have access to your genius. I want you to go out and rock the world with your genius. So I created the Call to Action Coaching Program. It's all about getting to the heart of you and what you've got to share with the world to make a profitable business that thrives and allows you to make a difference in the world. Click the link to sign up for the Call to Action Coaching Program today. Don't let your genius go unnoticed.